Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
The radical anti-Christian group Americans United for Separation of Church and State releases its, quote, groups to watch out for. Liberty Counsel, number one on the group. I'm Matt Barber, Vice President of Liberty Counsel Action. We're going to be discussing this today with Sean Akers, Liberty Counsel's Vice President of Middle Eastern Affairs. Well, Sean, you're known by those you hang out with, and your reputation. Oftentimes, if those people of high repute say good things about you, then you're doing something right. By the same token, people with a not so good reputation, and when the right people say negative things about you, that's something to be pretty happy about. And Americans United for Separation of Church and State, Barry Lynn's group, is one of the most misguided, radical, counter-constitutional and anti-Christian organizations in America today. They send out these nonsensical letters, 60,000 of them, to pastors across America, trying to scare them into silence from the pulpit and to avoiding issues of morality and issues that might in some way touch political issues. Well, they have released this list of groups to watch out for: Liberty Counsel, Jerry Falwell Ministries, and Liberty University, to include Liberty Counsel, is number one. Listen to this, Sean. It says, although Jerry Falwell, a religious right icon and founder of the Moral Majority, died in 2007, his empire is going strong thanks mostly to Liberty University, a Lynchburg, Virginia school now run by his son, Jerry Falwell Jr. Goes on to talk about Liberty Counsel, but I love the language. This empire, it evokes images of the Death Star. I think this is something to be proud of.
Well, it most definitely is. Now, I'll admit openly that I don't hold Americans United for the Separation of Church and State in the same esteem that they apparently hold us, because they're just not that effective. People don't take them very seriously. But you have to admit, if you interpret this properly, what he's saying is the people in the United States who most effectively oppose my version of America, which would include removing God from every aspect of American life, the most effective people in existence who do that are out at Liberty University and Liberty Counsel. I am very, very proud of that. Yes, I hope we are the most effective people in the United States at opposing removing God from the public square, at opposing constitutional citizenship in the way that the founders thought of it, and opposing the abuse of the unborn children, and opposing the mishandling of federal funding in a variety of levels. I hope that we are a voice that he takes very, very seriously. I think that's wisdom on his part, though his little report is not something that I, take terribly seriously.
Well, it goes on to say Liberty Counsel is a religious right legal outfit founded by Matt Staver that is now based at Liberty University. Well, that's true in part. If they'd done their research, they'd know we have offices here in Lynchburg. We have offices, the main offices in Orlando. We have offices around the country in Washington, D.C. and elsewhere. Nonetheless, where it launches, Liberty Counsel, lawsuits undermining church-state separation and encourages pastors to get involved in partisan political activity. Okay, not true and not true. The church-state separation, a quote, of course, found nowhere in the United States Constitution. With the left, pretty much any time the euphemisms that they use, when they say something affirmatively, you can pretty much reverse it, turn it on its head, and get to the bottom line.
Sure. In fact, I mean, if you want to really trace that term down of separation of church and state, the original idea behind that was much closer to keeping the state from shutting down churches and free speech right. So in that sense, we're the greatest proponent of the original understanding of this, because we'd very much like the state to leave the churches alone, let them speak as they see fit, let children at graduation speak as they see fit. So his arguments are not only misplaced historically, but they're illogical and pernicious.
Well, and this quoted in Liberty Counsel encourages pastors to get involved in partisan political activity. Simply not true. I'm so fed up with this notion that somehow issues of morality and political issues are somehow mutually exclusive, religious issues and political issues. They're one and the same, and the Reverend Jerry Falwell often said, hey, look, they accuse me of getting involved in politics. It's not my fault that they took moral issues and politicized them. I will take it a step further. It's pastors' duty to engage the culture from a moral standpoint, to point out the issues that are being debated of the day, to point out where pastors stand, or rather where politicians stand on these very important issues. And pastors have every right to engage and to give knowledge to their congregants about where these candidates stand on these transcendent issues.
Not only that, Matt, but you said earlier that you're often known by the company you keep, and I very much appreciate Barry Lynn's lumping us in with those revolutionary pastors of the colonial period, of the revolutionary period, and of early America, who on a regular basis held election day speeches specifically to talk about the importance of becoming involved politically, and the importance of the cultural and social issues, and the importance of governing ourselves under the laws of nature and nature's God. So to be lumped in, I suppose, with these other people that don't fit into Barry Lynn's version of the United States, who happen to have been the founders and their pastors, it's fine with me. I think that's a wonderful thing for us.
Well, actions speak louder than words, Sean, and we'll let our actions stand up against Barry Lynn's actions any day. You know how many churches they've got their tax-exempt status yanked for politicking from the pulpit? Exactly zero. They've sent out, filed who knows how many thousands of complaints, sent out tens of thousands of letters trying to intimidate pastors into silence and trying to keep them from exercising their First Amendment liberties. They have a record of 0 wins and thousands of losses. Liberty Counsel, we go up against their ideological comrades at the ACLU frequently. Guess what our win record is against the ACLU? It's upwards of around 90%. When we go to court against the ACLU, people like Americans United, we whoop them 90% of the time, and Americans United every time. It's because they know that they're spreading nonsense, but it's all ideology driven. They're trying to reinvent and recreate an America in their own secular socialist self-image, and in order to do this, they need to silence their opposition. That is a hallmark of the left: bullying, intimidating, trying to silence the opposition. I could not be more delighted than to be on this list personally.
Between this and several other of the far left lists that come out that attempt to cause great disparagement to groups, it would be nice for a change to have an open conversation about it, because the fact is there are two visions for the United States, one of them which is very close to what the founders had in mind and which served us very well for over 200 years, and another is a new utopian vision that has kind of always had a strain that was running through, but is now gained a little bit of force. I'll tell you, the one thing that does concern me, though, Matt, is that as we're seeing greater and greater levels of a lack of concern for the truth, a greater level of historical, even recent historical revisionism, and no fidelity to facts whatsoever, you really are seeing times when people like this are pushing out into new levels of exaggeration, and they're having a negative effect. The Chicago politic mentality is really hurting the discourse in the United States.
Well, all the propagandists of old have always said, the bigger the lie and the more often you repeat it. I think it was Joseph Goebbels that said this. the more people will believe it. So their methodology here is not one of actually educating, informing, using their own nonprofit status to educate pastors and the public and schools and so forth. Their MO is to spread outright propaganda, easily refutable. Something that when you look again at their record shows that they are just speaking nonsense. Folks, Liberty Counsel, we're not going to be intimidated. We encourage pastors listening right now, don't you be intimidated either. When you get that letter from Americans United for Separation of Church and State, best use for it is to line your bird cage. Go to lc.org to learn how you can become part of Liberty Counsel's ministry, or give us a call, 1-800-671-1776. We're standing up for your religious freedoms, and we can only do it with your help.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.